We hope you enjoy this rebroadcast of Risk On's highest-rated topics for the previous week. Todd and Jason will return next week with their regularly scheduled programming. And now, Risk On.
Hey, it's Todd Ault. It's June 21st. We are in Miami at Rich Speaks, and myself, Skyla, and Marshall are in Miami. We have an important dinner tonight, so we're doing the broadcast remote, which for those of you who've been following it, this is the 98th episode, so we've done this several times. Yeah, Marshall, how you doing, my man?
All right, I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Jason, what's up over there in hot Vegas?
Another $1.10 here. Temperature is scalding hot. JB Ballin, Papa G, what's up, fellas? Good to see you.
Jason, to say that I'm perplexed about the market continues to be an understatement.
What happened, Jason? Did the dollar just retrace a little bit today?
Yeah, it did go. Let me see if I have I think I have a chart for the dollar.
Because I would expect it to just breathe just a little bit because it's been a bull.
Yeah, here's a 1 day here, Nick. I did have it pulled up on barchart.com. There you see down to 91.86. We take a look at the 5 day. There's a good indication right there. So the Fed met last week, and boom, parabolic. Now it's starting to cool off a little bit. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see if it continues to cool, which I don't think. I believe it's a manipulated market, but if it continues to cool, then we'll see commodities come back again, I think. We'll see.
Yep.
Hey, all of you out there, we're going to have our 100th episode on this Wednesday. It'll be a little bit affected by the fact that Marshall has to go to New York for a funeral. But we are still going to do our show. We look forward to you guys sending in your videos for the 100th episode. Let me read you something real quickly here. A little crude here because we're in a hotel room and we are traveling. But I want to go over it with you real quick. And that is, we'd like to send in a video. It would be great, 5 seconds or so about the show. We're going to put a little montage together. We're going to have some on-air guests, and you will be featured on the show. Text 100-949-799-1831, 949-799-1831. We'd love to have you send a video in 5 seconds, what you like about the show, things like that. Get your questions in, obviously, in queue to Josh, and stick around for that show. We're going to have a fun show. We didn't expect Marshall to not be at the show on the 100th episode, but he's gonna call in, so it'll be fun.
Ethereum is the backbone. As NFTs continue to get more popular and are in more of a need to authenticate digital products, digital pieces of art, etc., it's all run on Ethereum. So the application for Ethereum. Now, I feel like when I talk about Ethereum, I almost sound like I'm talking about silver because as Jason and I go back and forth on the show daily, we talk about all the applications that silver has. And I keep saying, Jason, I've heard this for 20 years, all the applications that silver has, and that market has just stayed in a range. But I think that Ethereum is something different. That we are truly moving forward. We're not going backwards. We're moving forward digitally. NFTs are only going to be more pervasive and needed and required. And the Ethereum backbone is going to be the railway that the entire new internet, crypto, blockchain infrastructure runs on. And Bitcoin is just going to be a gold type store of value. And it's going to continue to take the brunt and take all the hits and punches from all of the governments worldwide because it is the number one brand in the crypto space. But I think you're right on Ethereum. This is a place to buy Ethereum. Sub 2,000 Ethereum, I would be taking advantage of this every day. Now, obviously, this is not investment advice. This is just how I feel personally and how I see it from a macro perspective as a macro investor.
We're going to have a weekly call, which, by the way, all you haters can sign up for and pay for. It's Big Business with Todd Ault, and Marshall Wilson will be on the call every day with me because I think he's a smart guy. He went to Harvard, for Christ's sake. Hey, we're going to be covering a lot of topics: IPOs, getting your business right. What are you doing in your business? Sales and negotiation. And I want to turn it over to Marshall for a little bit to talk about some of that sales negotiation. Marshall and I were down here at a conference, and we were watching a lot about how people speak. Richie Dolan was putting on a really nice conference. We had a great time with that. I wonder your thoughts, Marshall, on big business and what we're doing coming up.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the first big business call. So if anyone's interested, you want to get on these calls, text big. What's the number again, guys? What's the number?
949-799-1831, 949-799-1831. Skylar, I can see you yawning.
What I also want to do is I want to give one free one-on-one coaching session on my time, my dollar, to a listener. So text free to the number Todd just said, and I will choose one, and we'll go one-on-one. We'll have a 45-minute coaching call, whatever you guys want to discuss. If you're a contractor, definitely no brainer. If you're in sales, you have a business, you have anything to do with contracts and negotiation, without a doubt. If you're interested in macro investing, then I'm your guy. So that's legit. I will choose one person. I'll do that. So make sure you text free to that number.
Nice. And by the way, people are paying Marshall between $5,000 and $15,000 a month for his coaching. By the way, am I right about that, or is it just $5 a month, Marshall?
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Okay, so all you haters that don't want to pay, don't pay. But all you lovers that want to pay and learn something, he's going to do something for you for free. Yeah. And the funny part about Marshall is he was kind of coaching me on the sidelines about some of the things we were doing for more than a year. And I said to him one day, I said, you should come join me in real estate, man. The stuff you're doing is crazy. He's like, nope, I'm only coaching. I'm only coaching one person at a time, meaning one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, no, come do it as a group with me, man. I'm on all these group conferences. And he's like, no, not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I convinced him to come on the show and add his wisdom to the show. And he's still coaching one-on-one, but he's on the show too, which is great, right? And then we got a guy like Jason, who really is a risk analysis guy. And when I can get him to, he'll give me advice on what the risk looks like. Right now, he's probably not happy with the market and the dollar. He doesn't probably get it right now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Important advice, by the way, Marshall. You always have to remember, you got to continue to get coached. Even Tiger Woods has a coach all the time, even though he's the greatest golfer around. He's one of the greatest golfers now. You know, you go back and get a lesson. I got to remind myself that some things are complaints. Some things are really objective. Some things people just want to bitch. Bitcoin is 32,593 and Ethereum is 1942. We'll have Randy on the show tomorrow. We're going to wrap it up here. We appreciate all your energy and time spending the last hour with us as we're in Miami. We're doing it remote. For my friend Marshall, who I wish him well on his trip back to New York to see his fallen friend. Jason, I'll see you tomorrow. Skyla, an absolutely excellent assistant, doing a great job here in Miami. I could not be more proud of her. We're going to see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, it's Todd Ault. It's June 22nd. I just flew in with Skyla from Miami. Got up listen, in Miami, you can go to sleep at 2:30 in the morning, which is not intentional, by the way. I couldn't sleep. Neither could she. Separate hotel rooms, to be clear. This is my assistant and my niece. But both of us couldn't sleep, she reported in the morning. I don't know why I had to clarify that.
I don't know.
Episode 99, my number in high school, my last year when I played fullback. All the other years was 89 or 12 when I played quarterback. Believe it or not, I was 165 pounds going into my senior year, 6'4". So
Jesus, what a rail.
And I gained a lot of weight. Now I'm a whale. It is the 99th episode of Risk On. Skyla and I were at a conference. By the way, let's get something out of the way. In studio is my man, Jason Bartholomew, my friend, my colleague, my poker player who played this weekend. We're going to talk about that.
Yep.
Is today Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday.
That's it.
Oh, I thought it was Monday. Yeah, I'm a little weirded out here.
You're good.
Yeah, Jason is in the house. Our man Marshall sadly is at a funeral in New York and could not be with us today. He's with Eric, his friend who passed away sadly last week. So we wish Marshall well at the funeral, and hopefully he can console the family a little bit. I know Marshall's very sad about this. Someone he hired back in New York a while ago. Eric Schreiber is his name.
Yeah.
We put him on the show last week. So we'll miss you today, Marshall. What iPhone trading app do you prefer? The one you used when you bought Naked on air. Look good. You like it. Okay. Trick question.
Yeah.
We use a lot of different apps. So I have brokers that I trade with that are not, of course, on the iPhone. We have an E-Trade. We have an interactive broker. So the one I buy on when I buy Naked is interactive broker. Interactive broker appears to have a couple advantages. First of all, I'm not a fan of the platform in the sense the way they report. It's just, oh my God, it's so complicated. No, it's not as simple as E-Trade, but they are open at 1 a.m. Pacific time. They do have a great shorting platform.
Yeah.
We use Webull also. Now we use it institutionally.
Yeah.
I use Webull personally. I use what's that one app?
Use Robinhood.
Yeah. You don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like Robinhood.
I trade with a boutique broker dealer in Los Angeles. But mainly I use E-Trade.
Yeah.
Because they have a bank and they're easy to move around. I do a lot of syndication stuff. I buy, IPOs or secondaries. I do some converts. If you look at DPL's business plan that's owned by Ault Global, we lend to other public companies. So we're involved in public company trading. And E-Trade is very easy to migrate. The show Risk On, Risk On is a Wall Street term, but I really mean this for anybody who's trying to do something with their life in the sense that I came from my mom. I lived in HUD housing. My mom was effectively single. She got pregnant at 17, had me at 18. I never knew my biological father. I know who he is, never seen him, never called him, never spoke to him. My mom married, had another child, divorced, got married, had no children with him, but he was abusive. And then years later, my mom married the guy who I consider my father, who adopted me. I grew up in HUD housing in Fullerton, California. I went to good schools. I went to Parks Junior High. I went to Edison High School. But other than my grandfather giving me some money, lending me some money to start my business, and a wonderful man in New York who's been a supporter of mine, who really helped me come back after 2008, 2009. I've had a lot of risk-on moments where I put a lot at risk to get where we are.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to hear from other people what you guys are doing to take risk. Not risk in the sense that I'm risking everything, but I think everyone has to have a desire, something that they want to do. And I want to hear about them. Like, hey, Papa Gorilla owns a restaurant.
Yeah, he's doing real estate.
He's talking about doing some real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd love to talk to him. I want to find out what Robbie does, what Devon Wright does. And if you don't have a risk-on moment, let's figure out what your risk-on is going to be, and let's see if we can help you. If you're trading in a bull market, you have to remember that about 80% of your success is based on where the market's going. I've been through bear markets, and the part that sucks about bear markets is when things go down, they go down. And there's an analogy I learned after 32 years of doing this. Stocks would go higher than you ever thought possible and lower than you ever thought imaginable.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to, why do we keep so much cash? Because I believe someday there's going to be a sell-off, right? And I want to be in place. One of the reasons I teamed up with Jason is risk management. And Jason is really good at bankroll management. People will probably think this is insane what I'm about to say to you, but it is taking me over 30 years to really, truly understand managing your bankroll. I've always been kind of on red or black, all in kind of thing. And you're helping me manage bankroll, risk management.
Well,
so Jason on the Big Business Call will be talking about risk management. And all of you guys that are traders that you think you're new, you do need to talk to Jason about risk management and bankroll management because it will help your attitude as you build that bankroll. if you think about a commercial bank like JP Morgan, they got to have money at risk, right? So in order to be a trader, you've got to figure out what your actual bankroll is. What scares me is some people, their bankroll, they're living on their daily bread. And someone asked me in Miami, they said, hey, I got $50,000. What would you do with it? And she said, I'm a realtor and I'm flipping homes. And I'd say, flip more homes. Because you've got to have a bankroll. Well, I can go to my husband for the money, but I want to earn the money myself. I said, you got to have your own bankroll to do your daily bread business.
Correct.
So you've got to establish your daily bread. I mean, listen, whether you're a religious person or not, in the Bible it talks about daily bread. It's still a good comment, which is that you kind of got to know what your daily bread is, what you need, and then over and above what you have for your bankroll, right? So one of the reasons why I asked Jason to bet was because I believe that he could show people with $1,200, which he proven that he made it into over 6,000, right? Hey, Brett, thanks for letting us go over Nick today. Marshall, we miss you. Hope everything's well back there in New York. Obviously, you're at a funeral, so that could not be that fun, but I know you're back there for the family. Special thanks to Richie Dolan again. Check out Richie Dolan on Instagram. You'll see me with him. He's going to be at the RiskOn conference. Very connected guy. Jason,
Well,
any final thoughts on the way out?
tomorrow is number 100. Maybe we'll bring some baseball betting back into the mix.
Maybe.
Maybe.
For sure.
We can do that. That's an opportunity for people to make money. We've proven that we can do that, but it's just a matter of having if there's nobody that wants to do it with me, then I'm just going to keep betting on my own. I won't even post it. So, it's just up to the people.
Well, I want to. Hey, I wanted to, and what did I do? I put 400 out of the 1,600. I would have put half in.
Yeah.
Hey, it's RiskOn. It's the 22nd of June. This is the 99th episode. We love you guys. I'm so glad that you're here. Stay tuned for tomorrow's 100th episode. Take care. Be safe. I'm glad to be back in the studio. Thanks for Miami. Thanks for everybody there. Great time. See you tomorrow. Take care. Hey, it's Todd Ault. It is the 23rd of June. Is the 100th episode of RiskOn. Can you believe that?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. What do you got? Those applause there? It's right there. Right there. This one right here. Right?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Nope.
Not working. Not
What?
working.
It
Not
was
working.
working. Hey, there it is. Yes, coming through.
Josh, our
100.
producer, is in the house. He came in for the 100th episode. Normally he's online.
Celebration.
What's up, Josh?
Celebration. I'm having fun.
Marshall's back in New York with a big cigar. What's going on, Marshall?
He's celebrating.
Hey.
Look at that spread.
Skyla,
I know. I'm getting hungry.
she's here in her Everglow there.
Yeah.
Jason, we
My
had
man.
we had some Pizza Rock last night.
When did we start this thing, Josh? In February?
Yep.
100th
ago.
episode. And you know it's going to change, right? You know that the first 100 won't be anything like the next 100.
No.
That's right.
Hey, why don't you go get my man, Bradley?
Bradley?
Yep.
All right, I'll
Yo,
be back.
So we're going to have a ton of guests on the show today. But guys, I want to talk about why I have Brad Lee here. Those of you who don't know Brad Lee shouldn't be watching the show. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Dude, Brad Lee's trying to figure out why you have him here.
Well, I can tell you why. And that is, I met Brad Lee a few years ago. And I think I've talked about this on the show. And I want to say, we are in Brad Lee's building. This is Brad Lee's building. We lease from Brad Lee, our corporate headquarters. And we moved here to Nevada. And I made a decision that once I met Brad Lee and got to know his persona, the way he handled himself. I watched a lot of his information over a lot of years.
Yeah.
I decided to literally told my staff in November I'm relocating the headquarters of Ault Global Holdings to Nevada, and we're going to go in the same building as Bradley, and we're going to do business with Lightspeed. And I think Brad didn't know this. I called him up on the phone and said, hey, man, I'm moving in January. Can I come join you? And Brad was gracious enough to say, yeah, let me figure out how to make this happen. And so that is my introduction to Bradley. Why don't you tell everyone, Brad, what Lightspeed does, what you do, and then we'll give them, we're going to put up your URL and all that stuff. But I thought maybe you could tell everybody why you think I navigated here.
Well, I attract characters, and you're a character.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a character, right? And I think characters attract other characters.
Sure.
And you have to have character to be a character.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I think you just did, dude. People know me or they don't. If they don't, I'm just a guy that started a software 20 years ago before anyone was doing it, and then kind of led the way in developing an industry called online learning and info space, course selling.
You told me, and people are probably wondering, well, why do we have Brad Lee on then? I mean, Todd, you just moved your building there.
Isn't this called Risk On?
Yeah, the show's Risk On, and Brad Lee took risk, and I learned about some of his risk, and I want everyone in watching the show right now to understand what risk is like. So, Brad, when you signed this lease here, can I say it?
Well, why wouldn't you?
When you signed this lease here, Brad, how much money did you have in the bank to sign a lease for such a big?
I had $9,000 in the bank, and the check I signed was like 27 something. It was a deposit, and I said, "You're gonna have to hold that a minute. I got to sell something." But I knew I had to be in this office. I knew I had to freaking get this deal. And again, it didn't start with the whole floor. It didn't start with it kind of built up over time. But if I'm here because of the subject matter, which is risk on. Mm-hmm. I'm the expert at risk.
You are a king of risk.
Yeah, but let me give people a different perspective a little bit, because a lot of people, they avoid risk, and risk is where the opportunity is. Bet big, win big. Now, some people go, bet big, lose big. Well, you're a pessimist. Okay, I'm a winner. I win. Use your brain. Do your research. Yeah, you're going to lose some. So what? Yeah, you're going to fail. So what? Jordan failed at basketball 10 times more than I have.
What is Brad's best tip for closing a sale?
Ooh, best tip for closing a sale is to well, again, it's a hard one, because when it comes to closing a sale, there's a sequence of things that need to happen. The first thing you need to do is, obviously establish a connection with the individual and make sure that you can build a little bit of trust, because trust and empathy and a sense of humor is really all you need to freaking crush it in sales. But when you say close a deal, most people's mistake is they're closing on an objection that isn't real because they didn't have the wherewithal to make sure that it's valid. And you do that by simply, when you hear the objection, you want to solve it somehow with a hypothetical solution. And the fact that it's hypothetical means that you have all the power in the world, right? Like, their dog died. Well, what if your dog came back to life? See, that's hypothetical. So because you can be hypothetical, you can solve any situation. So give me an objection. Give me an objection.
You know what, Brad? This Lexus really rides nice, but I just really don't like the color.
Yeah, so hypothetically, if that was the perfect color, would you take it home?
Well, other than color, Brad, I believe I would.
So if that were hypothetically that color, you'd take it home right now?
I think we could do business, yeah.
Okay, good. Now, again, if someone keeps confirming yes, that's the real objection. But if they said no, or another reason comes out, it's because that wasn't the real objection. So the biggest tip on closing an objection is to find which one is real, because the first one usually isn't. You have to find the real objection to close it. That's my best tip. My best tip would be follow Marshall Wilkinson and risk on and keep listening. We'll deliver some bombs to you.
What is your thoughts about the way things have turned out in the last, call it 13 years?
It's exceeded our greatest hopes, and yet there were times we thought we'd never get here. It's truly, actually, it's a miracle. It's a dead-on miracle what we've been able to actualize, to achieve, and yet I think some of our now at this point in time with what we've achieved, I think our dreams and aspirations are much greater.
As far as crypto is concerned, it bounced off of 29. We're talking about Bitcoin specifically. It bounced off 29. It's still in its band. So, and the macro hasn't changed for me, guys. So I'm still bullish on it. Even and like I've said previously, expect more attacks on it, expect more pressure, and watch it continue to bounce back. It's going to get bid up at these levels all the time.
I always have been curious as to what you think I did for a living.
Well, I mean, the weirdest part for me was trying to tell any of my friends what you did for a living. I had no clue what to tell my friends. My dad works on Wall Street for whatever, until I was about 17 maybe or 18, and I started to get an actual grasp of what you did when I really took an interest in it. I had no clue what to tell people. I said, oh, he's worked on Wall Street and he's in finance or that's what he does. But all I knew was that you traveled all the time, and we would pick you up Wednesday nights at like 9 p.m. out of Long Beach, and then I wouldn't see you till the weekend, and that was it. It was like he's in New York, he's on business, and that's that for a long time.
When you interned and you came to New York with me,
Yeah.
why don't you talk about your experience there? I wondered, did you think it was mellow, or did you think it was a lot of work, or do you think we were busy? Was it a constant? Because I'm trying to give people a sense of the kind of risk that I don't know if this is risk, but obviously you being my firstborn son. I have an older daughter who graduated and is in business herself.
Working
I'm just
for
curious.
Amazon.
What did you say?
Time.
Yeah, working for Amazon, the Death Star. I was just curious as to what you thought of your time in New York with me.
I mean, it was a great time. It was definitely, we were up at 7 and out till 2 every day, constantly in meetings, whether it was just, with Henry or whoever else was there. I mean, we got to go and have meetings with people like, at Apollo, these huge firms, and meet people who I never even dreamed of meeting or had those kind of experiences. And that kind of culture and that atmosphere of being in New York and just on the go was something that I'd never experienced before, and it drew me in, Other than it being about 110 degrees and 90% humidity, trying to hang out in the back of a cab from meeting to meeting, that part was god awful, but the rest of it was incredible.
I forgot that you went to that meeting with Apollo. That's true, didn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You went to a lot of meetings.
Every one of them.
You had a lot of people there.
We went back and forth from New York, I think 8 times in about 6 weeks.
So Chase interned with me, and of course I have a place in New York, and so back then, and I have an office there too. I said, Chase, we're going to be back and forth in New York a lot, and he was exhausted with this idea. Here's his fat old dad saying, "Okay, we're leaving on a Monday. We'll be back on a Saturday," and he's like,
brutal.
"So we would come home for the weekend." He's like, "We're flying back again?" I'm
We
like,
would get back.
We went back and forth for what, 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was like,
And
was
the weather
toasted
was
out.
awful.
It was god awful.
When we would walk 2 blocks and you'd have a backpack on, and my entire back was just soaked. It was disgusting. Oh,
What did you think of the New York Stock Exchange?
that was incredible. The floor is really cool. I wish I could have seen it back like in its heyday when
the
it
heyday,
was,
right.
packed and everything like that. But the New York Stock Exchange is a really cool experience. Getting to see it from above, and all those decks, the people we got to meet, the people that are in charge of DPW.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Ault Global.
Yeah, all global. Yeah, hey, it's all right. Hey, I'm curious because you were there with the founding of Alzheimer's. I don't know if people realize that I literally founded Alzheimer's with an idea. I was curious when you were there and we founded Alzheimer's, and I said to you, "Hey, we're gonna raise money. We're gonna get these drugs and try to cure Alzheimer's." I was curious as to when you thought it was more real or not. Did you always think it was real? Did you think your dad was crazy? When I said to you, "Hey, it's gonna go public someday," did you think we were nuts?
Well, I'm sure that everybody that watches the show, it's literally called Risk On. I always thought it was real, but I know that you're like a visionary. You have these outlandish ideas that you somehow piece into the world by whether it's sheer will or other people's help as well. So of course I thought it was real, but you never know what's going to happen, especially with something like biotech, something that is so up in the air where, one little piece of bad data can just throw it all the way off the tracks.
Sure.
It's like what you're seeing with Biogen right now.
Right.
And so I always thought it was real, but it wasn't until pretty recently, pretty until I started interning with you, a couple summers ago, that I got to see it really taking form and turning into a company, and bringing Stefan on and bringing people on that were really, influential in Alzheimer's. It didn't become very real to me until, probably the past 2 years.
There's a lot of people on here who have a goal to start a business. I know Papa G wants to build some apartment buildings, and maybe he already has. But for those people out there, Chase, I talk about a lot of manifestation.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I'm curious as to whether you could tell the audience about whether you're a believer in manifestation with me or not.
These are not the droids you're looking for. Literally, no. It is full on one of the biggest forces in my life, and I think it's single-handedly the greatest thing you've ever taught me, because it shows me how to get pretty much exactly what I want in life. Whether that, something that's like I said before, entirely outlandish. manifestation just gives you a way of really putting it out there and always believing that positivity with it, and it happens. You know, I've seen it right before my eyes, where I've watched you say, you know, years ago you found it awesome, and all of a sudden it went public. It's
all
real.
of a sudden, man.
It's
all
real.
of a sudden.
All of a sudden, 5 years later, or whatever it is.
6
you
years.
know,
That's okay. All of a sudden.
Manifestation is a very, very real thing that, and I truthfully think it's the greatest lesson you've taught me, because it has allowed me to get here, you know, UCLA, all the things that I wanted.
I'm blown away that you say that, because I actually used to say to you all the time, dude, you have to know what you want.
Yeah.
You have to manifest it. It has to be in your bloodstream to make it happen.
It's the Jedi powers, man.
It is. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
No.
That's so funny, that whole thing about the orange droids you're looking for. Chase will tell you that Christy and I, when we got married, Chase was little. One day she said, your dad can just go, these aren't the droids you're looking for. And everyone goes, okay.
Yeah. I've seen it happen before my eyes. It's a crazy thing, man. It's really crazy, but I'm grateful for it.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Chase, for joining us. I'm grateful, everyone. I just wanted you guys to see that I actually am a real human being with kids, and that this is my son, and I've been teaching him Risk On for a long time. And part of that Risk On part is you got to manifest what you want. And I see a lot of people saying they want to do something. Do you really want to do it? Chase knows that somehow we can manifest to get it done.
You know, obviously things weren't so rosy before, and do I take another chance? But, you know, talking to some people here and seeing the trajectory you were on, yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. So I was kind of stuck in a rut, you know. I liked working for Toshiba. They're a good company, but unless you're in upper management, you know, you're not going to go anywhere there.
Sure.
So this is exciting to be a part of, and all the different aspects and the umbrella of companies here. Just proud to be a part of it, and congratulations to you and Jason on the 100th episode. I mean, you guys started all this Risk On show, so I'm just proud to be a little part of it, whatever I can contribute.
Do you have any memories of anything you think was Risk On in terms of what was going on you were part of, whether we were trying to start a business or whether we were doing things? And I've known you for a long time. I'm curious if you have one memory or something you thought, hey, that was crazy, but it worked out, or...
Well, you know as well as I do, I worked with you so long ago in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. You know, you were trying to spinning a lot of plates. Some things I didn't agree with. I told you. I know you didn't like probably at the time what that I didn't agree with some of the ideas. But as Gary said, I think you've stuck to it. You've risen from the ashes. I mean, you didn't ever give up. It's easy to give up, but the harder thing is to go push forward and have people believe in what you're doing. And bring, you know, look at how many people believe in what you're doing now. Look at all the good people you have around you, surrounding you. Now the team you have, it's incredible. I respect all these people. I mean, they're highly intelligent, contribute greatly, and, you know, the future's real bright.
MRIN has a deal with Instacart ads, integrating into Instacart ads. That's the news after hours, since it's ripping. Yeah, it's bringing experience, helping advertisers optimize over $40 billion in digital advertising. Yeah, that's legit.
Oh.
Okay. SQFT. Let's take a look at SQFT. See if they got anything.
I don't see anything here. Let's go to the... Oh, he's popping. You gonna hit anybody? I don't think so. Don't break anything.
Whoa. Hey!
Everyone okay there?
Look at Josh doing it.
Boy!
Yeah, boy!
Proxy filing.
Who filed the proxy?
SQFT.
Okay. Real estate informant. Who's that? No Silver Oak cab. Oh, dude.
What?
Real estate informant, Lance Smith.
Okay, because they know I love Silver Oak. Lance got me a bottle, actually. I'm a Silver Oak guy, as you're right. But this is a champagne situation. Wow.
Here we go.
Hey, thank you.
You got it.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
We're gonna get
Thank you.
We're gonna get a YouTube strike on this?
Nah.
Oh.
I got a little whiskey.
Oh, he's got some whiskey. Look at that, Trump International. Yeah. Hey, cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Cheers.
Roland.
Cheers, man. Congratulations.
Marshall, thank you, everybody. There you go.
And thank you to all the viewers.
You guys rock,
incredible.
man. I'm some of these people who I want to meet them. I want to get to know them. This is great. Let's go. What's been like the favorite thing you've ever invested in? You know, kind of a risky moment for you, where either you personally did it or you put someone's capital on the line.
Risky.
I mean, risk on moment, not risky in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I did do a solidarity play with GME. I felt like I needed to help the Wall Street Bets retail crew. That wasn't risky. That was more of a solidarity play. I would say.
You mean you put money in?
I rode that trade. I played the GME.
You put
trade
on that trade for your personal PA?
For my personal P&L, yeah.
Wow.
But again, that was just in solidarity with the Wall Street Bet guys.
You like the stonk?
Yeah, I love the stonk. Makes sense.
What level
strong.
are you still in it? What level did you do it at?
I got in when it was at about like, what was it? It was trading high. I got in at like in the 80s, 90s, and then I got out around 350. I couldn't. It gyrated a couple times. I forget when I got out. It was probably in early March.
Friggin' paper hands, dude.
I did have paper hands. Yeah. Couldn't.
It went from 80 to 350, and he has paper hands. How is that paper hands when you take a profit?
Listen, yeah, I had to take the profit. I don't have a huge personal P&L or balance sheet like Todd does.
Anyone that takes profit has paper hands.
So I was fine taking my profits.
Skyla, I think it's time for the. Hold on a second.
The joke.
Perfect. The joke of the day.
All right. Why is the hot pepper the noisiest vegetable?
Wait, should we ask someone to answer this?
Why is the hot pepper the noisiest vegetable?
Because it can't help but get jalapeno space.
Jalapeno space. Wow. That was pretty good.
I know you got a follow up. You got to have at least 2 for the 100th show.
You got another one, Skylar?
Wow,
look at that. Wait, don't move.
Quad.
Quad. We got quads on the board here.
Yeah.
Does that play a bonus?
Dude, is that a bonus?
That pays a bonus.
Face cards.
It's quad. So you got quad 9s or something, or whatever, quad aces with the 3 kicker?
Well, I mean, we would have quad aces with if you took me and you out. These 2 would be aces.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh,
Yeah,
Jason, what a nice guy.
Where's the Joker?
Give it to us, Skylar. What do you got?
What is Forrest Gump's Facebook password? Any guesses?
What is Forrest Gump's Facebook password?
1 Forrest 1.
One
Forrest 1.
Oh my God.
That's pretty good. Nice.
I love the new purple thing around here. I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's fun.
You did a good job.
You know what this reminds me of? And we've been there. The pepper mill.
What's that mean?
That just means that you got to go.
Well, give yourselves
Dude,
give a wide shot.
Come on, man.
Hey,
Let's do it. Give a wide
hit
shot.
the wide shot. Give you guys some props here.
Dude, this is great. Hey, what's up, Gary?
There we go. There it is.
Why are you
There
walking
it is.
by?
Right there. Nick and Brett do a
Zoom.
magnificent
is he
job.
here?
Josh is well
we'll
in the
done shortly.
studio.
Tell him to hang tight.
Amazing job to all of you for sure.
Oldest book.
Oh, oldest in the book.
Oldest in the
Oh,
book,
the
yeah.
1 Forrest 1.
Oh, is that 1 Forrest 1
I
is
ne-
the old one?
I never heard that one.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it either.
pretty
Hey,
good.
this is the 100th episode of Risk On. We are going to cut it. We appreciate it. It was not quite. I don't have the juice I wanted to have today.
Well, we're 2
about
hours
it.
deep.
What were we supposed to do today? What do you do with a 100th episode?
Make 100 more.
On that note, I am
that.
pumped up because there will be 100 more episodes. Skylar will be here. We're going to change the format a little bit. We're going to get a little tighter. We got great graphics coming on. We're investing in the show. We have new guests, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much to Josh, our producer, Willie in the background somewhere up there in Canada, Nick, Brett, Marshall, thank you. Jason especially. You've been on 100 episodes with me. No matter where I've been in the world, you are a true friend. You are a true friend, my friend. Hey, you guys take care. We love you, but be well.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, it's Todd Ault. It is the 24th of June. This is the 101st episode. In the house today, I'm going to tell you about someone who's sitting next to me over there. 2 spots. Joe Spaziano, say hello.
Hey, what's
Crypto
up?
Joe. Yesterday, Joe, the busy chief information officer that he is, was not able to make the 100th episode. So he agreed to be on the show today with us because Joe is the longest running full-time employee, I believe, who's ever worked for me. Is that correct?
Across 3 decades, technically.
3 decades, right. Wow, that's big.
Sounds weird, right?
Does
but
sound
it isn't.
weird.
2007.
Holy smokes, that's right.
Yep.
Long time.
Wow.
My man Joe, he actually worked with me when I had an office in Santa Monica and Century City.
Yep.
Before we leased out part of the building to Obama.
Yep.
Back in the days when I had a broker dealer, my man Joe has been through all of the crazy stuff that we have had happen to us. Hey, today in the house is Skyla. Say hello, Skyla.
Hello.
Josh, our producer, is here. We are thankful for him being here. You can see that in the wide shot. My man Jason.
Hey, what's going on?
We're
everyone?
having a terror of a run here.
Back to you, Todd. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, later we're going to talk about John MacAfee and his alleged, now that he's dead, something's going to go down thing. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to spread a conspiracy theory, but I did read that he said it was going to happen. So
John MacAfee did not
It ain't
kill...
a conspiracy if he says...
He did not kill himself? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't...
I mean, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, the hybrid...
Dude, we want to get ourselves banned here, don't we?
And the conspiracy theories just keep running.
It's endless, isn't it? Is it a conspiracy if it's true?
If it's true.
No, if it's true, it's not.
I mean, the guy puts the tattoo on his arm and says, hey...
Well, he thought he was going to get whacked, right?
I did not suicide myself. Yeah, he puts the tattoo whacked. WHACKD with a dollar sign.
Yeah, I know, but I think that had a lot to do with when he was chatting up Bitcoin, and he was worried about people like the banks and the big brokerage firms coming after him.
The IRS was coming after him, okay?
That's true.
In his case, here's his case. He said he had to flee, and he went to Belize. He went all over the place. And then he said other people who owe the IRS millions of dollars, I won't mention any names, Al Sharpton walking around New York City every day, they were free to just live their free life. And this is stuff that's going on, like the justice system. You could make a case to say that it's a just us system. Some people are guilty, some people aren't. You can't control the Federal Reserve. As we look at the US dollar on the one-day chart here, Nick, it's been consolidating here a little bit and around 91.80. But the thing is...
Hey, Nick, I like, if you don't mind, unless it's just so difficult for you, I like when the chart goes up, it's there for a few seconds, and then you go to the split screen, because it gives people an opportunity to look at that chart and then still see my fat face, everyone else's pretty face. Perfect, Nick. Thanks.
There we go. Nice.
Yeah.
So the Fed comes out and says, hey, we're hawkish. We're going to at least do a couple rate increases up in 23. And then the Minnesota chair comes out and says, hey, we're looking at 22 possibly. Not much mention of tapering, still harvesting like $120 billion a month in assets being bought by the Federal Reserve, I believe $40 billion in real estate. So the dollar actually rips up here. This is the 1 month chart. And then here, if you just take a smaller snapshot of the 5-day, you can see a little bit of volatility here. And you'll actually look at the commodities indexes too, and you'll notice that the commodities indexes are obviously down because the dollar has been up. Now, let's see if it still can hold the strength here. And also what's going to happen in other countries. Are they still going to be hoarding dollars? Obviously, everyone's going to be trading US dollars, the petrodollar, for oil. And oil has been strong, too. That's really the one commodity that hasn't really felt the pressure of the strong US dollar. And that has to go to the Biden administration policies, whereas the last administration made it a really, really important point to make sure that this country was energy independent. This administration has indicated that they're not really as concerned to that, and they're not really unwilling to take foreign oil or be beholden to foreign oil. And we know the history has shown that when this country's been beholden to foreign oil, generally the wars are usually going to happen, and they have happened in the past. I'm just using history as an indicator. And companies like Raytheon, some of these defense companies, they kind of like war. So the military-industrial complex, you could make a case, they might like Biden a little more than the Orange Man. That's just my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Microsoft hit a $2 trillion market cap today, over $2 trillion market cap. That was a big deal today. What do you think of that?
Absolutely.
What do you think of Bill Gates'
monster
company?
Did I see something with Buffett giving money away? And
Buffett resigned,
Okay.
but not in some bad way. Buffett resigned from the foundation. He said that he is past the fourth quarter. He's into overtime. He's still doing well. And he has given away half of all of his Berkshire Hathaway shares, which if he wouldn't have given any of them away are worth $100 billion. He's given away $40 billion worth. And he has $100 billion left, which is half, so it tells you how much it's grown. He said he still had full faith in the CEO who's running the foundation, and I don't think anyone should read into it. I think Buffett is in overtime, and he doesn't want to be on a bunch of corporate boards. He's left Coca-Cola. He's left a bunch of them. You know, he wouldn't have given him the money if he didn't endorse what they're doing. So he's given away. He still has to give away another $100 billion. Berkshire's doing fine with it that he gave it away.
Look, just in case he's watching, my E-Trade number is.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. You got to be a foundation. Nike killed it, by the way, on earnings today.
They did.
Congratulations
I did
to
not
Nike.
expect that.
That was a big runner for them. That was great. What happened? The money's gone.
Look, the scary thing about this whole story about these the exchanges, they said they were hacked, and they asked all their investors not to, or anybody who carried coin in there, not to actually contact the authorities. It would be easier to get it all back. And a lot of these people listened, but some of them, thank God, didn't, and they hired a law firm to go and investigate. And they can't find the brothers, but what they did find out is that 7 days before this whole thing went down, none of their employees could get into the back end of the system.
Wow. Premeditated heist.
Premeditated heist.
Whoa. Well, when the money's gone, it's time to move on. And where do you think they are? Where could they be? Skylar wants to talk about Britney Spears.
Oops, I did it
So
again.
she finally made a statement in court, like, 'cause she's been quiet for 2 years. And there was this whole thing where, like, her family made her, like, basically under 24-hour surveillance. She wasn't allowed to do anything. And there was, like, this one incident where she didn't like a dance move. And then her whole team, like, had a meeting without her. And then her dad said she was off her meds, so they put her on lithium because she was, like, disagreeing with a dance move. Yeah. And they, like, wouldn't let her go anywhere. And then also she has, like, they forced her to get an IUD. And then she wants to have a baby and get married and have a family. And she literally cannot go to the doctor and even get the IUD out to have a baby. And her dad's approving all this stuff, and she, like, finally spoke out about it, and it's just terrible.
That's the conservatorship, Skylar?
Yeah, she has no control over her own life, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just horrible.
Well,
little Britney Spears.
How can that be?
I mean,
one time I was at Sushi Roku. I was dating a girl, and little Britney Spears lived by me in Santa Monica. And so she's over to my left, and I didn't know for sure she was there. But across from me was the girl I was dating, and she's like, "That's Britney Spears. Hey, over there." And I went. And she's, "Yeah, it's me, Britney Spears." Little girl. She's tiny as you cannot believe how tiny this girl was. She is not, we're going a little longer. On air, she is not, like, when you look at her, you don't think she's this tiny. She's tiny. She was sweet as can be to me. And I was her neighbor, and she said, "Oh, yeah." I said, I see you sunbathing once in a while." She goes, "I bet you do."
Right.
Anyways, that was my Britney Spears story.
I will tell you, just to Skyla's point, it is sad if she's gotten control of her life. She should be able to take control back. But the reason she has had conservatorship where they had that total control is because you do stupid things and you win stupid prizes, right?
Well, no, I understand what happened in the past.
So she's got to demonstrate. I mean, there is an end to the conservatorship. She has to demonstrate that she's changed her life and that she's not going to go back.
And she's tried, and then she gets drugged up and can't do anything about it.
Andrea B says that her dad is evil and she's a slave. Andrea B is smart. Don't
Is that
fool
one of
with
her songs? She's a
slave. Yeah.
For you.
Hey, I want to go to this headline here. This is public knowledge released today, welcoming my friend Chris Wu, a banker from Tenejo, a former guy at J.P. Morgan. Let's see him on the screen. I'll be half screen with him because I am so thrilled that we were able, after what took forever, to recruit him away. We didn't recruit him away. We mutually agreed that he would join the firm in head of alternative investments and president of Ault Alliance, which is our investment holding arm of our company Chris is a solid banker, 25 years. I think he got Real Estate Banker of the Year award last year. It's in his 8K. He has joined the firm. He will start July 1st as president of Ault Alliance and working with me and Will and the team. He is a capital extraordinaire. His financial acumen is unwavering. The guy literally has done incredible deals, including lining up $150 million plus for the hotel that's being built in New York City. He has done real estate deals, distressed assets, and for All Global DPW, he is a monster hire for us. Welcome, Chris. Thank you so much for joining the firm.
Absolutely.
And let's give him an applause. He's definitely unstoppable.
All the way. Welcome above.
Unstoppable. And we'll give him a little applause because he joined the firm.
Look forward to it, Chris.
Chris, we are so excited you're going to be with us.
Okay.
Get your money right.
How do you get a country girl's attention? A tractor.
That's nice. Good job. Hey, special thanks to my man, the longest running employee, Crypto Joe, for hosting the show. He's also a Bitcoin extraordinaire and a Ethereum dude.
Today.
I'm a big fan of Joe. He's been with us a long time. Crypto Joe is a personal friend. And when I asked him to move to Vegas, he said, I took Joe aside. Took him to dinner. I knew where I took him. You remember where we went?
Yeah, we went to
Morton's.
Yep.
And I said, Joe, I'm moving to Vegas. Nobody believed that we were moving to Vegas, but Joe knew we were moving. And Joe went home and got his wife and his family, who grew up in Orange County their whole life, and said, okay, we're going. And Joe bought a house here, moved, and he was the very first person to say yes, besides my wife, who I was hoping was going to move with me. Just kidding around. Just kidding around. Anyways, we love you, man. Appreciate it. You've been through
everything.
You've been through everything, have you not?
Yeah.
You've been through some deep valleys.
Some crazy
As
stuff.
Richard Nixon says, it's only in the deepest valleys that you can appreciate the highest mountain peaks, man. We have been in some deep valleys, and hopefully we don't go there again. Josh, thanks for coming in from California to be on the show. Special thanks to Willie for being here. Brett and Nick. I love Nick. All the new graphics you're posting up at the full screen. Special thanks to Skyla. Why? Because I have a pastrami sandwich waiting for me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just do. I have a pastrami sandwich. All of you, appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. We appreciate everyone's support. We love you, man. Thanks for tuning in to Risk On. Chris, welcome to the team. Take care. We'll see everybody tomorrow on this crazy show that is Risk On. Hey, it's Todd Ault. It's the 25th of June. It's the 100 and what episode now?
102.
102. 102. I hope I live to 102. Jason, you know what I woke up to today?
I do.
I woke up to Iconics. IKNX. Everybody out there, every single person out there that makes all these comments, we filed the 13D 6 months ago. Today, we woke up to it, it started like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, back to 17, blah, blah, blah. It went to 24.50. I couldn't sell it fast enough.
Yeah, we unloaded the clip on
Yeah,
that.
we sold the whole entire position today. You'll see the 13D. I'm letting everybody know we sold it. But you knew we owned it for 6 months.
I focused the majority of our career in the Southwest. But now we're doing stuff down in Puerto Rico. We have a different market. We're hitting
Puerto Rico?
Yeah, we're hitting the ultra wealthy because of tax.
Taxes.
Right. It's like the Ritz-Carlton resort down there, like a development or something?
Yeah. It's over in the Rio Grande area, and it's the St. Regis. And we had Logan Paul looking at one of our properties the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, after the fight.
Big payday for Logan, huh?
Yeah. So it was cool because immediately 2 weeks after the fight, we had him down there, and I had the builder call me up and ask me if we would consider selling one of the properties we're having built.
Yeah.
And so it was exciting to have someone like that quick go down and take a look at it. So those are the type of people that we're hitting in the market down in Puerto Rico.
That's interesting.
And
maybe
so,
his brother Jake will go the distance here in this upcoming fight.
We'll build. You as a business person can go in and you can have these incredible ideas, but if you get the way the world works is they function on denial. It's kind of like substance abuse, right? So retail's dying. People know that retail's dying, but they're still in denial that there's going to be some magical way it's going to come back in brick and mortars. And so we go into municipalities. We've been trying to buy some of these. We put in offers, and we get friction because one of the big moves is putting together industrial warehouse space for distribution because e-commerce is growing. So with e-commerce growing, you take these, you reposition these into industrial warehouse space, and you can make them fluid again. Or put in a little bit of retail in the front is one business model, have industrial warehouse, and then on these big empty parking lots, because a lot of these things are consuming 30, 40, 50 acres of land. And so we can go vertical with multifamily and do a full redevelopment plan. But it's the industrials part of it that we've been getting friction from municipalities.
Yep.
And so if the municipality isn't going to support us, it's really tough because then you spend a lot of time and money involved in a project that may or may not go. So that's been the only thing. Now we're starting to see a little bit more cooperation from municipalities. And I think as we, like anything, as time evolves and the real writing is on the wall, a lot of these municipalities get sick of seeing these empty parking lots and weeds start growing through the asphalt, and that's when they become a lot more open-minded to working with us for redevelopment projects. So yeah, very interesting move.
I love it. Follow up, can you explain the interest rate cap rate relationship and why a rise in rates is good for the cap rate? Can you explain that or not?
Yeah, I can explain it. So, there's not a guarantee that's going to happen, right? You would think logically it has to happen, and wise investors are looking for it. Like myself, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here when I say, interest rates start rising and the cap rates just can't stay low because there's only so much that a property can bear, right? So there's only so much risk that an investor is going to take on any property. And so what it really comes down to is what your net operating income is and what you can really function and run that building at with debt, which most of them are carrying debt on them. And debt is a liability if it doesn't service itself. And it's not a liability, it's an asset, is what I've always said, is when it services itself. But there's a risk tolerance that the banks are willing to take and then they're willing to withdraw. And so you got to watch the business model the banks use because the banks have the best underwriting in the world, right? That's why the Federal Reserve, and the central banking system, they kind of run what we do.
Especially after all the stress tests and after 2008 and such. Yeah. Like the guidelines have been
the
straight up.
CFPB was put together,
for sure.
And everything. So, so when you would think that the way the banks are going to look at it is if interest rates go up, cap rates are going to have to rise a little bit as well. So we'll see a little forgiveness there. But the prices to build and stuff are high. So to Todd's point, there's going to be some type of teeter-totter effect that's going to have to go on over the course. And it usually takes about 2 years,
right,
for us to see some type of stabilization when there's market shifts and market changes that are substantial.
What would you say? Just a question from me personally. What would you say to someone right now that was a first-time home buyer or just in general looking to make a purchase of a primary residence? Let's say, for example, in one of these up-and-coming cities like Las Vegas, for example, where a lot of people are coming here, it's hot. Like, what would you say to someone that was looking for like an entry-level home in the $200,000 to $350,000 range? Would you encourage that? Could you expound on that?
Yeah, I never discourage people from buying. You got to buy wise. You have to look at real estate as a long-term holding. I think people that are looking at buying real estate like you do day trading, and they're just in for the to either sell short or sell high and take their profits. It's not the best time. It's a real tough gamble right now. But real estate appreciates, and with inflation, I tell people the only real asset that you have in the world is real estate, because over the course of time, history has shown its natural appreciation. And the more money they print, the more the American dollar is devalued. You can't buy that same $250,000 house, that you could buy 3 years ago. Today it's more. It's 400, 500,000.
Now you're talking my language, real world language. And on that note, I'd like to show.
We bring a lot of different diversity on the show on Risk On. And I wanted to cover the last few minutes with Jerome this way. And that is, Jerome, you are a self-made guy. You took risks to get where you were. Could you give everyone a little bit of history of how you got started, what risk you had to take to do it? Sort of what was if you can, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect, but what was kind of the biggest risk on moment you took where you knew like I had to do this in order to get to the next level?
Yeah, the day I moved from the Southwest all the way up to the East Coast, and I packed my 4Runner and drove across the country. And it was for that purpose, you know. When you're in college and you could turn back to mom and dad, steal a roll of toilet paper and some food out of the refrigerator. It makes life a little bit easier, and as silly as that sounds. But I had a mentor, and he said, burn your bridges. And as much as, you know, there's people with families, you know, and I don't want to sit here and tell you, sell my burn your bridges method on everybody out there. It worked for me, you know. I was far enough away that I had that pit in my stomach, and there was really good moments, and there was a lot of really bad moments, you know. And you got to have some level of risk tolerance that you have to be able to stomach, and you got to have, I think, your dream of doing something greater than what the world promotes to you really has to live in you, because, like my wife tells me, she goes, there's very few people like you, Jerome. And what she means by that is there's very few people that have that risk tolerance that you have, you know. And so, but there's people that can go out and do what we're doing. They don't have to do it to the magnitude that we're doing it. They can have levels of success that we've had in my new forms and still do very, very well. And so, you know, I made decisions, and I made decisions that I stuck behind. And so when I really started making it, it took a while. It took from 1993 to 1998. And in 1998, I had made some money in there, and I had done well for my age. But then I had some downfalls and some collapses of income because of being wet behind the ear. And it was really through that persistent nature and that real dream that I was able to push through. And when I got there, I was able to stay consistent at it. And so one of the big things is you take a little piece of knowledge, and if you exercise it correctly, and the biggest thing is you do things right, you do things ethically, because in the means of when things are going wrong and you're trying to survive, we tend to do things not so correctly in order to survive. Like mentor told me, he said, Jerome, understand, never lend money or your wife out to people, because you'll never get either one of them back if you do. And he said, because people in survival mode will lie, cheat, and steal from the family, their family and the ones they love. And they will from you too. And I think all of us are guilty to some magnitude of that when we're trying to go through a level of success. And so when you really make it, you sit back and you go, okay, I got to get my scales balanced right and do things correctly. And that comes from my dad, you know, in all honesty, that comes from my dad. And my dad said, you know, Jerome, if you never tell a story or a lie, you never have to remember anything, because you never have anything to cover up, right? You just tell the truth. You know, so anytime we've had litigations or lawsuits, we've been able to go to the table, and the girls in my office ask, hey, what do I bring to the table? And I tell them, you give them everything, because you have nothing to hide.
I am so risk averse. I have money to buy a house, but I'm stuck in stocks. I'm stuck. In stocks. COVID issues in my country had to put back the sale of some assets. I want to buy a home, but I don't know if I should buy it or not. Hey, listen, Robbie, this is just my perspective. Ultimately, you got to buy yourself a house. Let's move closer together a little bit here. Yeah. Ultimately, you got to buy yourself a house. You got to make sure that you have a homestead, the house that is yours. Now, there's some people that argue you can rent, and that's true. But I think the replacement costs of these houses are going up and not going away anytime soon. I always believe you should have one that belongs to you, but you got to make sure you can afford it, and you got the daily bread to make sure you cover that cost. It has been a great week, man. My man. Great week. Marshall, I hope everything's well in New York for you. Everyone take care. Randy, Skyla, Nick, Brett, Willie, the whole crew, everyone at Ault Global, everyone at Ault & Company, Ault Real Estate Partners, Ault Capital Management. It's been a run. It's been fun. Let's have a good weekend. Josh, you take care, my friend. Thank you so much. We kicked ass this week. We'll see you.